Good morning Year 7 and welcome to today's maths lesson. Let's start off with a quick starter. Can you please solve for me 5x equals negative 25? Then can you find 2/7 of 14? And finally, can you divide 455 by 5? Pause the video and spend a couple of minutes solving those now, please. Okay, let's go through the answers. I've got 5x equals negative 25. This means that I want to get x on its own. To do that, I need to divide 5x by 5. And Jack, what's negative 25 divided by 5? Negative 5, lovely. So x is equal to negative 5. To find 2/7 of 14, how can I find 1/7 of 14? Breeze, how can I find 1/7 of 14? I divide 14 by 7, so 14 divided by 7 will give me 2, but I want 2/7, so 2/7 is going to be 2 times 2, which gives me 4. And finally, I've got 455 divided by 5. Let's just do a quick bus stop division for this one. 455 goes on the underneath the bus stop, 5 goes on the outside, 5s into 4 is 0, carry the 4. Adam, how many 5s in 45? 9, lovely. And how many 5s in 5 for me, Robert? 1, excellent. So we're looking for 91. Okay, let's have a quick recap of last lesson. We were looking at two-step equations. I've got 2 on the board here. 4x plus 3 equals 15. What's my first step going to be to work out what just x is on its own? What do I need to do, Trenton? Subtract 3, lovely. My first step is to subtract 3. That just leaves 4x on its own. 15 take away 3 gives me 12. I then need to divide by what, Brooke? 4, lovely. Divide by 4, which gives me that x is equal to 3. Second one looks a bit trickier because I've got a negative x in there. What's my first step to make it look more like the one in the first example? I need to add 6x, so that gives me 3 equals 15 plus 6x, and now it looks a lot more friendly. Now I can just continue as I did in the first example. I can subtract 15 from both sides. Subtracting 15 gives me that negative 12 is equal to 6x. And my final step is then to divide by 6. So x is equal to negative 2. Okay, I've got some quick questions on the board. Each time I've gone through and done the first step to solve these equations. Can you please tell me if each of these equations is the step I've done the right step or the wrong step? If I've done it wrong, can you correct it for me? And finally, can you solve each of these equations? So for example, the first one, I've added 9 to both sides of that equation. Was that the right thing to do, or have I already gone astray? Pause the video for a few minutes and in your light blue books, have a go at these, please. Okay, here are the answers. I was looking for x equals 8, that was the first step, that was correct. For this one, my first step was divide 3x by 3, divide the answer by 3, but then I just left the 9 as it was, so no, I cannot do that, that's not the right first step. For the third one, this could be the right step. I could argue you could divide everything in there by 3. I would rather add 9 to begin with and then divide by 3, but you could have done that. The fourth one is definitely wrong, you cannot do that. The fifth one is definitely wrong. And the sixth one is yes, and that would give me that x is equal to negative 2 for the sixth question. Okay, we started looking at some brackets last lesson. So dark blue books out, can you give me the title, Solving Two-Step Equations with Brackets? When you've done that, pens down and eyes on the board, watching me complete the first example. So I've got 2 lots of x plus 3. My intuition as a mathematician tells me if I see a bracket, the best thing I can do is expand it. 2 times x gives me what, Trenton? 2x, thanks very much. And Ben, what's 2 times 3? 6, great. So I've got 2x plus 6 gives me 16. Okay, Daisy, what's my next step? What do I need to do? Subtract 6 from both sides, which just leaves me with 2x is equal to 10. And then what's my final step going to be, Ludo? Divide by 2, excellent. Dividing by 2 tells me that x is equal to 5. In your dark blue books, in the same way, can you please now have a go at the example on the other side of the board? Pause the video for a minute or two, off you go. Okay, I'll go through the answer. Again, my maths intuition tells me I've got a bracket. The first thing I'm going to do is expand it. 2 times x gives me 2x. 2 times negative 3 gives me negative 6. That equals 16. I'm then going to add 6 to both sides, which gives me that 2x is equal to 22. And my final step is to divide by 2, which tells me that x is equal to 11. Please make sure you've got that written up in your dark blue books nice and neatly. And then can you please have a go at these questions for me? Pause the video for 5 minutes or so, and in your light blue books, please do these practice questions. Okay, so the answers I was looking for these questions are up on the board: 3, 7, 1, 4 and negative 2. Dark blue books. Carrying on underneath your last example, I'm going to do an example and then you're going to do an example. So I need to solve 3 lots of 2x plus 5 equals 33. Again, the first thing I always like to do is expand that bracket. Charlie, what's 3 times 2x? 6x, lovely. Darcy, what's 3 times 5? 15, excellent. So I've got 6x plus 15 equals 33. Barbara, what do I want to do now? Subtract 15, lovely. That gives me that 6x. Subtracting 15 on the other side. Tells me 6x is equal to 18. And then what's my final step, Drew? Divide by 6, lovely. Which tells me that x is equal to 3. Over to you in your dark blue books. Pause the video, spend a couple of minutes solving this one for me. Okay, let's go through the answers. If I expand that bracket again, I'm going to draw out the grid. I put 3x, subtract 2 along the top, 4 here, 4 times 3x gives me 12x, 4 times negative 2 gives me negative 8, so I know that 12x subtract 8 is going to give me 40. What do I do next, Dejan? Add 8, very wise. Adding 8 to both sides tells me that 12x is equal to 48. And my final step is to divide by 12. George, what's 48 divided by 12? 4, lovely. X is equal to 4. I'm going to go through another example with you. This time I've got 4 lots of 3 minus 2x equals negative 28. This one looks a bit trickier, but let's approach it in the same way. So pens down, watching me for this one. Again, I'm going to draw out my brackets in my grid. Four times 3 gives me 12. 4 times negative 2x is going to give me negative 8x. So we know that 12 take away 8x is going to give us negative 28. But we don't like a negative value of x, so we're going to add 8x to both sides, which will give us 12 is equal to negative 28 plus 8x. I'm now going to add that 28, so I'm just left with x's on one side of my equation. So I've got 8x is equal to 40, and then dividing by 8 on both sides. Everything I do to one side, I've got to do to the other. Tells me that x is equal to 5. Cool. In your dark blue books, can you please pause the video for a minute or two and have a go at this one, and then I'll go through the answer. Okay, let's go through it. Again, I'm going to draw out my grid. If you don't like the grid, you're more than welcome to do it without. However, people are more likely to get the answer correct if they draw the grid. 4 times 4 gives me 16. And 4 times negative 3x gives me what, Dejan? Negative 12x, very wise. So I've now got 16, take away 12x, equals negative 20. Lily, what do I want to do now? Add 12x, very nice. We don't like having that negative 12x. Gets confusing. Let's put it on the other side. We've added 12x to both sides, but I just want x on its own. What can I do now, Trenton? Add 20, very wise. Adding 20 to both sides means that I'm just left with 36 equals 12x. And then to work out x on its own, I just want to divide both sides by 12, which tells me that 3 equals x. Please make sure you've got that in your dark blue book for me now. And then in your light blue book, can you have a go at these questions for me? Pause the video for 5 minutes or so and complete these 5 questions. Okay, so the answers I was looking for were 1, 4, 2, 2 and negative 2. Okay, I've given you 4 different questions on the board. They look quite similar, but notice the ones at the bottom have got brackets in, the ones at the top haven't. See how the brackets affect your answer. Solve each of these equations for me. Pause the video for 4 minutes, 1 minute a question, something like that, and then I'll go through the answers. Okay, these are the answers. You could have left it as a mixed fraction, as a mixed number, or as an improper fraction. Either or would be acceptable. So the answers I was looking for were 3 1/5, 5 3/7, x is equal to 10.4, and x is equal to 14. Pause the video for a minute, and in your light blue books, have a go at these 4 questions for me. Again, some of them have got brackets, some of them haven't. How does the bracket affect your answer? Okay, these are the answers I was looking for. 23/5, negative 11, 7 and 17/8. And as the final part of this lesson, to check where your understanding is, please log on to MathsWatch and complete the questions labelled 7x3 two-step linear equations. I've assigned them for you for today and they need to be completed by the end of today. Thanks very much, Year 7, and best of luck.